Hi everyone, and welcome back to TSR Jivey Talks Tech, the new Studio Rats channel. I wonder how long it'll be new for, I'm not sure yet. So one of the things I get asked all the time, and I promised in the previous video I wouldn't turn this into a drum channel, but one of the things I get asked all the time is about drum tuning and drum prep for recordings. In fact, I know full well from asking people, one of the reasons I get booked for recording as an engineer is because of the drum sound I get in some of these videos. So I thought I'd spend a bit of time and talk to you about my take, and it is only my take on drum tuning and drum maintenance, that sort of thing. I have to give a huge shout out to my buddy Uli Frost, who quite frankly taught me most of these tricks anyway. So while they're my ideas, they're kind of stolen. So thanks, Uli. It's that time of year as well where I get to spend a small fortune on replacement drum heads. And we'll talk a bit about choices and stuff like that in a minute. But this is the 12-inch tom from my Sonor SQ2 drum kit. It's, for those of you drum nerds out there, it's a birch shell with Macassar ebony outer and inner. Now, there is an argument that says change both heads, but quite frankly, this kit isn't that old in drum kit lifespan kind of thing. And it's never been on the road, and these bottom heads are absolutely mint. So I'm only going to be changing the top head, but I do have to tune the whole drum. It's not a case of just going, right, I'll take the top head off, replace it, and hope for the best. I will be changing it as if I'm putting two new heads on, but in this case, I'm only going to change the top head. So I have the first of the most important tools, a drum key, and I'm just going to whip off this top head. There may be some comedy music, who knows? Wow, the tension rods on this kit are long. So there is our hoop. Let's put that down there. And here's the outgoing head. Now, I think this one's probably 2 or 3 years old. If I was playing on this a lot, and by that I mean sort of like 2 or 3 gigs a week, I'd probably be changing the heads every 6 to 8 months. But this is not in such bad shape, considering it's been on there for a couple of years. So let's have a look inside the drum. First of all, let's get all the dust out, because there will be some. And we'll get a nice smooth cloth. Give it a wipe out. Make sure there's no debris or dust collecting inside there. It's also a good opportunity to have a look and see, you know, if there is any damage, anything, or if any of these bolts inside need tweaking or adjusting, or have come loose or anything like that. In this case, they haven't. So, you will notice I am using a drum stool to put the drum on, because quite frankly, it allows me to keep the bottom head mute as I'm tweaking the top head, and that's quite important. You don't want to be able to hear both heads at the same time. That's not good. However, we're going to turn it over. You can see there's some dust. Sawdust has accumulated. Let's just let this head right off. So we're starting from a level playing field. And there we go. You can hear the air coming in and out of there. Nice and loose. Fantastic. Right. So a couple of things. Depending on the drums you're using, or the kit, the age of the kit, the style, etc., you may find a couple of things. And again, it makes it more difficult with modern high-end drums because the fit and finish is so good. In the olden days, when drums were bent round, there was a join. And that join is a really important kind of like home for your heads and how you mount the head and the hoop on the drum. Again, in the olden days, you would have been able to look round the hoop and find a weld mark. These days, with cast hoops especially, there is no weld. So we're just going to have to guess, quite frankly. Let's put that down there a second. But we're also going to look on the other head to see if we can find the join. Now, on that bottom head, you can see there is a join in the weld just about there. In fact, you probably can't because it's miles away. But if we look on the outgoing head, you'll see there's a weld, a join, where the two parts of the metal frame that make up the hoop join. Uli thinks, and therefore I think, that if possible, you should line up the seam in the head, in the hoop of the head, with the weld mark on the hoop, with the join on the drum, with the weld mark on the hoop, with the weld mark on the hoop of the head. Now that is difficult when you can't find them or they don't exist because the drums are such high quality these days. But because we've found a weld mark on this bottom head, or I did at least, I'm going to do my best to line them up. Where are you? There it is. Right. So we're going to get the new head out. And I'm using an Evans G2. And why an Evans G2? Well, because I like Evans. I like coated heads on this particular kit. I find Evans last me longer. I know some people say Remos last longer than Evans, but Evans sound better and they fall off a cliff quicker. But hey, it's horses for courses. Now, there are plenty of people that say you should always put the manufacturer's logo lined up with the mounting block or the clamp. Nah, rubbish. I'm going to go and try and line these up with the other head, which is about there in this case. And I'm now going to put the hoop over the top, line it up, and I'm going to wind the tension rods down till they are finger tight. And again, this may take a little while and may involve some comedy music. Okay, we are there or thereabouts. The head's on and it's attached and it's secure, which is good. Now I'm going to start on the bottom head. Why the bottom head? Well, the tone, the actual tone of the drum, comes from the bottom head. Think of it as the tack and the punch come from the top, but the tone and the pitch come from the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just make sure it's seated nicely and go one full turn on each lug to start winding out some of these cracks and wrinkles in the head. And then we can see that even with a bit of pressure, there's no wrinkles as such. Now, finger in the middle. You can hear that one's a bit low. Bit low there. They're a bit high, so let's bring all the rest up. And what we're trying to do is get an even tension on all these 6 lugs. Now, it takes more time with an 8 lug or a 10 lug drum, but the principle is exactly the same. Kick drum, snare drum, toms. For me, I want the bottom head to be in tune. That's pretty close. And to sound nice, even before we start worrying about the batter head. Up a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Bit more there even. Right, I'm going to go with that. Pretty close. So let's turn over. And the first thing we need to do is seat the head on the drum. And this is quite brutal, but we're going to lean into it. Make sure it's all sat nicely. And again, we're going to go around and just even up across the head. Bit of pressure. And we'll wind these up until we get rid of those wrinkles. 1, 2, 3. And you can kind of feel the tension in the lug through the key. Let's make sure that's there. Let's see what we're up to. Still a bit of a wrinkle there. Right there a little bit. Now, I believe in the whole kind of star tuning thing, but when you get to a stage where the tension is generally pretty even all over and you can tell when the wrinkles have gone, we must be pretty close. Now, you won't see me tapping the drum head with the key because all you're going to do successfully is chip away and dent the bearing edge of the drum, the bit where the head meets the drum shell. And a damaged bearing edge is, one, not very nice to listen to, and two, very expensive to get put right. So let's have a listen to how this head now sounds. And but remember that the bottom head is being muted by the drum stool. Let's go down a little bit there. Bit there. Do you know what? I think that might be quite close. Let's have a listen. That's a bit. Just not far off, you know. Both heads sound pretty similar in pitch. I would say the bottom head's a little lower, so the bottom head wants to come up a tiny bit, because in my experience at least, if the drum goes doo, that indicates that the bottom head is lower in pitch than the top. If the drum goes boo, it indicates that the bottom head is higher in pitch than the batter head. So in this case, or at least to my ears, let's try it one more time. It's pretty close, but it is diving a tiny bit. Do, do. Not much, though. Let's go quarter turn, or eighth of a turn even, on all 6 lugs. That's a little low. Nice. It's quite tight, but hey, if it works, it works. There we go. Lovely sounding. Now, in the context of the full kit, and I will play the full kit with new heads, I might choose to put a little blob of moon gel on there, which is like a little piece of, quite frankly, everlasting snot. There is stuff called Gorilla Snot which you can use as well. Moon gel, gel pads, things like that, just to take some of that away if you don't want to use gaffer tape or anything like that. But actually, they sound... Yeah, if anything, that bottom one's now a little high, but I'm quite happy with that. So, there you go. My technique at least, well, my stolen technique at least, for how to tune your toms. This for me gives the pitch and the tone that the drum wants to give. Yes, you can go higher for that more kind of jazzy sound, but I think the drums start to sound choked. Yes, you can go lower, but the drums start to sound out of control and kind of like whoa, 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 and it's not nice. For me, that's how a 12-inch tom should sound. I now have to do the 8, 10, the 14 and the 16 floors, and we will cut back to me playing the kit with all new heads. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Something a bit different, something you wouldn't find on the normal Studio Rats channel, because Paul wouldn't let me, quite frankly. If you did like it, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the normal stuff. At this early stage of the channel, it really, really does help. I'll be spreading this stuff out far and wide on drum forums and all that sort of thing. So if you do see it, please do say hi, comment, all that sort of stuff. It really, really helps very early doors in the channel's life. But for now, my name's James Ivey from Jivey Talks Tech, and I'll see you again very soon.